Hello my Twitchies. Today we are talking about Sun Wukong, the Monkey King. Let's look at this build. So with a warrior support, I prefer the Death's Toll start. Watcher's Gift is a plenty fine start if you're not comfortable with Death's Toll, but once you become more comfortable with warrior supports, I recommend picking up Death's Toll. It's basically the whole point of going warrior support. You get that extra damage off early. It can help with lane clear, the early game bullying. That's really what you're looking for in a warrior support. So Death's Toll helps you really abuse that in the early game. I recommend going into Midas boots on warrior sports, definitely. The Death's Toll early game damage will definitely help you until you can transition into that Midas boots instead of going from a Watcher's Gift maybe to a warrior Tabi. I like the Death's Toll Midas boot option much better. For your core items, you're going to be looking at Sovereignty, of course, Hide of the Urchin, of course, Magi's Blessing. Who would have guessed? Hide of the Urchin is a very good item on almost all warrior sports, Guan Yu, Wukong, Hercules. That's specifically because of that mana aspect of the warrior support. It's typically hard for warriors to conserve their mana in a way where they can also clear the wave and do poke and that kind of thing. So Hide of the Urchin is a great item to consider getting, or even Sovereignty and Hide of the Urchin, which I will actually do in this game. These damage items are almost more oriented at a jungle or a solo lane Wukong. Kin Size and Executioner, Sun Wukong does very well with attack speed based items. He also does well with cooldown, which is the Jotun's Wrath. Jotun's Wrath actually a viable option on your support Sun Wukong towards like a 4th item or so. If you want to be able to get more CC off, it can help the cooldown reduction for your 2, which is your slow, and your 3, which can be your stun and or your knockup. Looking at your defensive items, you have your typical situational items, Midgardian, Male Witchblade for fast attack speed comps, Pestilence for healing comps, Spirit Robe for high CC comps. Actives, of course, we got our Wrath of the Gods, which we have to pick up even if we don't want to, even how much we refuse, we get it anyway because that's support life and our team needs us. Heavenly Agility, a great option if you want to get up faster, if your team needs it. Perhaps the other team has a Bass stat or something you need to run away from. Heavenly Agility is always a great option. Shell of Absorption, always my personal favorite for the protections, as well as Weakening Curse if they have excessive healing. Consumables just there to make it easier for me to grab wards and potions. Looking at our abilities here, Sun Wukong has a very interesting passive, very unique in terms of smite. When he is below 35% health, he gains 10% critical chance and 10% or 10 protections, and that's his baseline. And then he gains 1% critical chance and 1 protection for every level that he has. So at level 20, that's going to be 30% critical chance and 30 protections. This is why you'll see a lot of Sun Wukongs pick up Deathbringer as an offensive item. That's because now when they're low, their critical chance is 50%, and then the Deathbringer has the passive on it to make those crits do more damage. So looking at our skills, Sun Wukong is one of those characters where you don't want to level up your skill at the start of the game in case you get caught out. You're looking at 72 transformations if you get caught out. This is 3 different skills. If you cast it at the farthest range, it's going to transfer you into a bird. The bird moves extremely fast. That's your getaway skill. If you cast it at a medium range, it's going to be Tiger Stun. This is your highest damaging skill on Sun Wukong. It's also the skill that I prefer to rank up first. And then you have your Ox, which is a giant knockup, basically, that you can use to cause some devastation in the middle of a team fight, put some disarray in there. The skill you typically want to level first, though, instead of 72 transformations, is going to be your Magic Cudgel. This is your lane clear skill. It does 20% extra damage to minions in jungle camps. So it will do that base damage to players, 80, 120 if you hit a other god. But if you hit the minion, it's going to do that damage plus 20% extra, and of course your 50% physical power. Typically, Magical Cudgel, I'll get up to about rank 2 or 3 to help with the laning phase and clearing. But after that point, you're not really in the lane anymore, and so I like to focus my points into 72 transformations, which allows me to do more damage with my single target skill. The stun becomes longer and allows me to cause more havoc, honestly, in team fights. Master's Will, you're going to want to pick up at level 4 usually. It's a 2-second slow for 30%. The slow does not increase in duration or the effect of the slow. The cooldown does not increase. All that increases is the damage. The damage is slightly more than Magic Cudgel in terms of damage to players, but as far as damage to minions go, Magic Cudgel is both your safer bet and usually more damage. So you're looking at ranking up Magic Cudgel first if you don't get caught in the jungle, then grabbing 72 transformations, back into your magic cudgel, level 4 Master's Will, and then level 5 you're going to head into your ultimate, which is Somersault Cloud. This really makes the whole Wukong kit. What you're looking at here is a skill that has about a 2-second induction or so that you can move around in your CC immune in. And what it's going to do is you're going to twirl around your magic cudgel and you're going to fly into the air. You can stay in the air for a pretty long time and it's going to heal you every second for a percentage of your health. When you come down from the cloud, it's going to do damage to the people you land on. This skill allows you to get into a lot of interesting situations. The most consistent use of this skill, because it makes a decoy when you go up in the air, is people will go into the tower range. They'll grab aggro on their tower so their ADC can come in and hit the people in there. They'll cast their Somersault Cloud. You go into the air. Your decoy will take aggro, and then you can heal up in the air while your decoy is taking the tower while your ADC is beating on their ADC under the tower. Very typical use of that skill. Allows Sun Wukong to go a lot farther than he would typically. You guys are going to really enjoy this game. This is a ranked game, and this is a big boy game that was perfect for you guys for explaining things. So let's go ahead and head into this game. The start of this game, we were all having a little jump party, and we have Lassus playing Agni over there, dashing away, taking a lot of damage because I wanted to join the jump party. At the start of this game, I am lagging a little bit. I do fix it within the next 30 seconds or so. Starting at these mid harpies, I've leveled up my magic cudgel. I did not get caught out in the early parts of this game. Gonna go ahead and tag these mid harpies and go ahead and head towards this back harpy. Doing this level 3 start will give me a good advantage in this lane. This lane is already going to be harder because it's a chalk support. Chalk support, a very difficult support to deal with in the laning phase due to his very high lane clear. Apollo, very good lane clear as well, but Scylla, not bad lane clear in herself, actually. Pretty good lane clear as far as an ADC type goes. You know, she gets outpushed in the mid lane, but as far as an ADC aspect goes, her 2 actually does a lot of damage. No eyes in the Chalk or Apollo. We can kind of assume they're trying to do our red buff. It doesn't really matter. At this point, we can't stop it anyway. Getting my 3rd point into my magic cudgel, this is really going to help our lane clear. That combined with the Scylla 2 is pretty much going to clear the wave. Mask gets an early kill on the Lassus. For those of you who don't know, Mask is the #1 player currently in ranked, and he is a very strong player, and this game will certainly show you guys why he is #1. Looking into their jungle, I'm kind of just chilling around, making sure nobody is rotating anywhere, nobody's coming in on us. I'm not going to lose any XP because the wave was already gone, but I wanted to make sure nobody was coming to get Snoopy. Level 4, I'm grabbing my 2. That way I have a slow if we look for a kill opportunity in this right lane. Sun Wukong, actually a lot of CC between us. We can look for a lot of good opportunities once they're out of the tower range. Snoopy throwing some good poke right there. Always looking for opportunities to poke the opposing team when there's not a wave. I thought about poking the Apollo right there, but I see the wave is coming, and the wave is more important than poking out the Apollo. That wave, at this point in the game, will do a lot more damage to me than the Apollo is going to do. I see an opportunity. We have full cleared this wave. I know Zap doesn't really have a real getaway skill. He's also now thrown his axe, which means he's out of position at this point. My magic cudgel has come back up. Snoopy's skills are also coming back up. Looking for an opportunity to collapse on him. He throws his axe on top of us instead of throwing his axe away from us to attempt to get away. Zapman a little too aggressive right there, and he's going to pay for it with his life. Mercury has come over to our lane. Famous Hate is still on level 4, so he's not going to have enough skills to get away. I'm trying to stay outside of the stun range of the Apollo or the Mez range, excuse me, and he's unfortunately going to get away with just a couple of hit points. A good play there by the Apollo. Mid Harpy spawning very soon, but I want to make sure that I get credit for this wave. I am in no rush to get to the mid Harpy. Zap is level 4. He can't really contest the mid Harpies anyway. Taking my sweet time to get over to these mid harpies while my mana pot is ticking my mana up. I feel no pressure over in this right harpies. Lycie Lassus going over to get the left side harpy, which means I don't even really need to hog these here if I don't want to. I barely have to use skills here if I don't want to. At this point, I'm not sure what skill I want to level up. I'm waiting. I see an opportunity to fight middle, so I'm going to level up my Tiger form. Looking for some pressure on the last, getting the stun off, doing a lot of damage. Wukong has a lot of damage that you can output early game. So make sure that you abuse that. That's why I rank up Tiger form first. It has a very high base damage, and it's not that hard to land if you're close to somebody. Kind of thinking about backing right now, but I know the back harpies are up, and I've got my hog up. Still, his blue won't be spawning until I get back anyway, so might as well come get myself some extra XP and some gold. Backing for the first time, making sure I get my wards. This is a good note to throw out there, a little tiny thing you can use to improve your game. Whenever you're in the base and you're waiting for your full health and your mana, make sure that you have your getaway skill ready to use to get out of the base, just to help you get back to the lane a little faster. That's also important on characters such as Wukong that have a getaway skill that lasts for a very long time that can help you get back to the lane a good deal faster. I know the Thor is low, so I'm not particularly scared. I see Scylla getting caught out in the right lane jungle, and I can't unfortunately do anything about that, so I just clear this mid wave. Gonna throw down a ward on the Gold Fury. Even though it is early, they have the capability to do this. They have an Apollo. Apollo very good at taking that. Attempting to steal this blue buff, my hog is not up. I tried to time the damage correctly with my Tiger form. Unfortunately, the blue buff has approximately 2 to 3 hit points left, and I do not quite get it. Not feeling super scared right now. I don't need to pop my ultimate. I'm just going to walk myself to safety. If I would have popped my ultimate right there, I would have been down for a more important location. Making sure that you properly assess the situation and determine what skills you need to use. Also try to keep count of your mana and make sure that if you use your skills, you will still have enough mana to use your getaway skills if the situation goes south fast. I now have enough money for my Midas boots. I recommend backing as fast as you can to get your Midas boots when you get the appropriate money. The sooner you get your Midas boots, the sooner you're going to get more gold. The faster you get it over your opponent, in fact, it will be also better. Always make sure as well to check the tab every, I would say, couple of minutes or so, and check out what actives the other team is running. See who has beads, who has tier 3 beads, who's running their hogs, so you know who has their secures, etc. I see Zatman in the jungle. He's a chalk, so I know he's going to do a lot of damage, and I know he's going to do a lot of stuff. I see him casting his ultimate, which means I have to cast my ultimate, but that means the Poseidon can also land his skills onto Zatman. Zatman hops over the wall, so I'm going to go look to help elsewhere. Unfortunately, I'm going to get caught out by a very well-timed Thor stun, Agni stun. Apollo ulti towards the mid lane. Anatolian last pushing in here onto Kevin Bacon on Poseidon. Doing a very good job at dodging these skills. Dodges the ultimate. Mercury has a great ult on the last to prevent him from casting any more bombs if they would have been up. And Kevin Bacon is going to get away due to his teammates helping him and some great dodges on his part. I immediately bird form so I can try to get back to this lane as fast as I can, just in case this fight continues to linger any longer. A lot of pressure being put onto Snoopy middle. He's going to take a lot of damage, but not quite enough to kill him. Looking to get my cudgel onto Lassus to prevent him from backing, but I will not be there in time. While I have some free moments, I'm just like, I wonder if the right harpies are still up. And sure enough, they are, so I'm going to grab myself some nice free XP. Poseidon trying to hit them with his 1 in order to get that, but he's not quite going to hit it. Satman over here clearing out the ADC lane. I'm going to come over here as well. Snoopy is not that close right now, but I see he is coming over, so I'm going to attempt to hold this wave the best I can, and I'm going to group it up so his 2 will hit the entire wave, and so we can move on with our lives. At this point, I have hit level 9, and I'm going to rank up my 3 to max level because my ultimate is not up yet, so I will not benefit from that if we break out in a fight in the next couple of seconds. Snoopy being 3 levels ahead of this Apollo is very big. That's going to allow him to keep the lane control over the Apollo. Normally the Scylla might lose lane control to an ADC, but now that she is so far ahead, she's actually in a great position to abuse her power over the ADC with the harass from her too. 8 minutes in, I'm going to pick up a Sentry Ward. It's about that time people are going to start thinking about doing Gold Fury calls after pickoffs. We're down about 1k right now. Nothing crazy. 1k will not influence much of the game. XP is much more important. The bigger difference is that our middle is down a level. But our ADC is up many levels, so that is fine. Throwing down the regular ward just because I don't know if they already have a sentry down. I will know if they have a sentry if they cleared that regular ward. Little trick right there. Zapman taking a lot of damage right here. The Scylla ult is going to miss, but I am going to be able to clean up Zap here with a little tappy tap. Looking for their buffs now since I know their support is not alive, and I know the Ra is over in the solo lane. This should be a relatively free blue buff for us that we can give to the Scylla, which means that I will be at liberty to take the other blue buff for myself, giving myself that mana regen and cooldown. Little note right here, what you're going to see is I'm going to pop my Tiger form early, trying to get into this blue buff, and I hit a small minion. If you really want to maximize this, what you want to do is pull those camps first and then use your Tiger form and guarantee hit the big minion. That's a little mistake right there that I just had. It can be very difficult to hit the big minion with Tiger form with the way the two minions are positioned in front of the large minion. Little side note there. I still have my sentry ward. I know that they don't have a sentry ward on the gold because they did not clear my ward. So I don't want to put down my sentry ward yet and have it get countered. There might come a situation where I really need it. Right here, I know LeChaka is rotating over to help the left lane, so there's going to be a lot of people in the left lane. If I had a normal ADC here, what I would have done is called a Gold Fury. I would have had Snoopy rotate over, I would have tanked it while he had his Devo gloves, he can heal and he can take in a bit, and we would have done the Gold Fury very easily. Unfortunately, it's a Scylla. We will not have enough damage to do the Gold Fury, so instead I make a decision to rotate over to the left lane. Now, this little fight is going to be important to note that not only do you need to know your god in your opponent's gods, but you need to know the opponent that you are facing. We're going to catch last out over here, and here we have Zapman still fighting my minion. So what's going to happen here is he throws his axe, and I'm not going to use my Tiger form because I know 100% in my mind that Zap is going to dash back in to go for the Mercury because that is who Zap is. Zap is an aggressive player, and he's always looking for big plays. Know who you're playing against. Save your skills if you know they're going to use their getaway skill to go in. That's what I'm trying to say right here. Dodging a couple skills from Anatoly right there on the Ra, I'm going to be able to freely get away and have enough money to get my tier 2 heading towards my sovereignty. Little skirmish breaking out middle, nothing too crazy. Poseidon and Scylla throwing some harass onto the Apollo. Chuck is still dead. We're looking about even in gold now. We're up about 800 or so. Not going to influence anything at all, but it's much better than being down 1,000 gold and 1,800 gold shift since the last time I mentioned it. Last, going to get a good pickup here on Kevin Bacon. Tastes like bacon. He got fried. Get it? He's Agni. Oh, he casts fire. Oh. I'm here all week. Alright, going back over to this ADC lane, I'm just going to grab this free XP. I know Sully will not be here in time. Little side note here, I'm leveling up my Magic Cudgel first. Magic Cudgel does more damage on the NPCs, but not necessarily on players. Sometimes you will see Wukong's leveling up their 2 before their 1. That is perfectly fine. I do it sometimes myself as well. In this case, I simply wanted the 1 for more ranged poke. We have a big collapse coming here on this right lane. I slow Zap. I throw my 1. I know he's going to ulti again, so I use my ultimate. I wait for him because I know he's going to dash away, and I'm able to collapse on the kill. The Apollo's Mez should be down, so I can come over, grab some hits on him. Now that the ADC and the support are dead, the mid is dead as well. Anatoly is all the way over in left lane. I know we have a relatively free Gold Fury here. Snoopy is going to keep pushing right lane because of how free this Gold Fury is going to be. The Thor actually initiates on Snoopy in the right lane, which is beneficial for me and Mercury, who will slyly go do this Gold Fury and give our team a much needed 1,500 gold exchange. Snoopy is going to 1v1 the Thor because of how far ahead he is in level. Snoopy is level 15. He would not have been able to do that if he had not gotten such an early game advantage. Agni and Guan looking at each other funny. Agni's going to dash away there and get away from the Guan Yu. Mid Harpies are spawning soon. We're going to want to try to look for those as well as grabbing this mid wave for XP. Typically, you don't want a three-way split. That is not the most optimum way to split XP, but it's also not going to be the end of the world. It's better than nobody getting the XP. I'm about one level ahead of Chalk. Nothing crazy there, but I do have a good bit of gold, and Chalk is going a very offensive build, not building very team-oriented, building more of an ADC-style Chalk than a support-style Chalk. Apollo is in the air, so we got to be careful. Chalk is beating on me, but that's alright. I've got to get to this mid lane and see if I can do something. Unfortunately, their whole team is there, so I'm a bit worried. Last dashes through me, giving me an opportunity to go for him. I missed the tiger form, but I'm going to stay on him right here. Luckily, I have Wukong ult, one of the best ults in the game, so I can freely chill up and heal up as much as I need. Coming back in onto the Thor, chilling out while I see the Ra and Chalk coming for me, and I can go ahead and bull form back through them, knocking them up, causing a little disorientation, and getting away scot-free. So that man goes back in for some harass, and nothing happens, and everybody is good. Staying around for some last bit of XP here, just trying to maximize everything that I can. Now, in this situation, I am thinking very carefully about what to do. I know if I use my tiger form and I miss, I'm going to die. So I have to wait for the absolute perfect situation to arise. I see Snoopy coming over. I know he's a Scylla. I know he can do great things if he lands his root. He might need my stun to help him out. They all group up, and he's going to land a two-man stun, and I'm going to get a stun on Anatoly, and he's going to get his ult on both of them, and we're going to get the triple kill because of Snoopy, and that turned the whole fight around. I waited to use my stun. Snoopy lands a great root, a great ultimate, and that is a big deal. That's a lot of gold. That's a lot of XP. That's a lot of pressure from everywhere. Snoopy gets ganked after the entire event back in mid lane by Thor and Agni, but that is okay. He did his part. He is allowed to die. He was the savior. Going back towards this mid lane, I see Poseidon's pretty far away. He's going to lose some credit for this wave, so I might as well go ahead and do this. No harm, no foul. Poseidon is a little bit behind, but one level is not going to kill him. Throwing down a sentry on the fire just to make sure we have vision over there. Even though we are ahead, you never want to have a fire giant sneakily taken from you. That would be the worst case scenario. Especially since they have a Chalk. Chalk is very good at securing objectives. Very hard to steal an objective from Chalk because Chalk silences you. Kind of staying around to see if we can do something on last. He's pretty low, but he dashes away here, but nobody's really around to help him. The Chalk is here, but we can get some really good pressure onto this tower. Poseidon knows that Last's jump is down, and so he gets a very good ultimate onto him. Putting some pressure on this Thor, I did not realize my team was not with me, so I awkwardly run into a tier 2 tower by myself. Ulting back into this little in-between area between the two spots, I stun the Apollo inside a whirlpool, which I did not know. This fun mechanical fact: if you're stunned inside a whirlpool, you will get pulled back towards the middle while you are not running, making the Apollo not be able to get away. I will not be able to help my team here in this fight towards that tower. I'm low on mana, my ultimate is down, so I'm trying to help in my own way. I know the Thor is going to dash in on him and use his stun, so I try my best to tiger form and stop the spin to win. Unfortunately, I do not quite make it in time. This tower is extremely low, and we're thinking about diving it. Mercury is kind of making the call to go in. I'm going to go ahead and call this off. I do not feel comfortable doing this with my health and current mana situation, and the fact that they have a Ra. But because I backed, their team is actually going to start putting some pressure onto Snoopy, and they're going to be looking for a kill there. But Snoopy is going to land a lot of great skills as well as everybody else, and they're going to get a couple kills right here. Lassus comes in though, landing some great bombs himself, picking up Dawn Silent. The Ra heal is allowing them to sustain through this mid-wave. Thinking about maybe getting a weakening curse because of the damage and the healing that Ra is putting out. You know, put some pressure on him with a weakening curse. Trying to keep mid away from pushing any farther towers, so I'm just throwing some harass out of them. Not really concerned about dying. Got a lot of health, got a lot of protections. My ultimate is coming up very soon. I know they're doing the Gold Fury at this point. I know I'm going to have a really hard time taking it. So I'm just trying to put some pressure over here. I know they're going to keep doing it because Chalk's going to ulti to secure the Gold Fury. I have no choice but to hug the second before his ultimate comes down. And unfortunately, the Gold Fury had just enough health to live through it. I do not get the steal here, but we will get something a little bit different. The Apollo goes in, the Agni goes in, Chalk is going in, everybody's going in. Anatoly's in the back, a little bit out of position. He's immune to slows, though he pops in great beads, but he's going to go ahead and get cleaned up by Dawn Silent. Apollo barely getting away, Thor barely getting away. I'm like, I have this, I can do this. I slow him, I'm getting ready to Tiger Form him. Oh no, I'm getting slowed. I'm going to pop him with my Bull Form, but Apollo mezzes me, and I'm in deep trouble. I'm going to die. My skills are down. My mana is down. The Chalk one lands on me, and Mask comes from across the map on a Mercury ult and hits both of them and kills the Apollo and cleans up Zapman. This is why he is #1 in my heart and in League. Thank you, Mask, for the brilliant save. Also, a shout out to that Apollo for a brilliant save of the Thor. I almost have enough money for my Hide of the Urchin, but I don't really want to waste time either, so I'm trying to do something before I go back to pick up this Hide of the Urchin. We are about 2k ahead right now. Not super far ahead, but we are ahead in XP by quite a little bit here. Our ADC is 3 levels above. Our mid is still 1 level below like he's been our all game. Our Mercury is 3 levels above their jungle. Our solo lane is 1 level below, and I am 1 level above. Grabbing these mid harpies. At this point, we don't really need anything from these mid harpies, but a little bit of this and a little bit of that isn't too bad. Finishing up the Hide of the Urchin, I get this because I personally want more protections. My team is doing very well. They're very high level. They have a lot of gold. There's not a team item that I need right here. I do not feel like they're going to go do the Fire Giant, so I do not need Magi's to block the Chalk ult quite yet. I will be working on that as my next item, but this will allow me to play even more aggressively into their backline because I am now extremely comfortable with how tanky I am with my getaway skills and with my amazing ultimate. Still haven't gotten a second active, haven't found it necessary yet. Rather finish up my Hide of the Urchin and start getting stacks off. I know Lass is going to dash here, so I do not use my Tiger Form to waste it. He gets a Soul Reaver proc on me with his little fog and does 400 damage because Soul Reaver. Snoopy gets caught out of position in the right lane, but he is still alive. He lands a really good ult onto the Thor, and he's still alive, and the Chalk's going for him, but we stun Zapman before he can collapse onto Snoopy, and we get another kill. We have 3 kills. They're almost all dead. We're putting the pressure onto Lass. We see Toly towards the mid lane. We can't get to Toly. Lass dashes away. This fight is pretty much over. But wait, we're going for Toly. Toly has a great beads, but our damage is too much, even with his Aegis, even with his preemptive beads that were perfectly timed. It is going to be too much for him. We have 4 of them down. They do not have a Hog 3-up. I make the call to go do the Fire Giant. Guan Yu reaffirms my call, making it his own, saying, no, actually, it was my idea to do the Fire Giant. And I go, who cares whose idea it was? Let's do it. The Fire Giant is getting melted because of Mask being extremely large right now. His penis is muy grande right now. And he is Mercury, and the combination of those two things is going to allow us to pick up Fire Giant before the other team even knows what's happening. Starting to work my way finally into a Magi's Blessing. This will help us be ready for the next Fire Giant, which would most likely be contested, as well as picking up a Sentry Ward just to throw wherever I feel like they may have ward coverage. Still doing back camps, they're still important. I am not level 20 yet, which means I still need it. I am not full build, which means I need more gold. Never forget to do back harpies when they're up. They're a good source of XP and gold, especially as you continuously do it throughout the game. Apollo and Chalk over in the right lane, gonna put my own little form of pressure here. Could have gone towards them to do more damage, but these NPCs would have taken the whole thing. Apollo starts to ulti out, I just make sure to get a little bit of harass off onto him. Chalk himself is behind this tier 1 tower, behind the tier 2. I feel relatively confident in my team. They've been doing very well this game. I know they're gonna get this Chalk without me, so I'm gonna stop this wave from going in and clearing the tier 1 tower. The chase ensues, and we are chasing Zapman across the map. We're up 4K, we're up a lot of XP, good things are happening. The other team is getting a little bit sad right now. They thought this game was going to go better, but Mercury is immortal. This kid is godlike, and this is going to wrap up this game. This is going to be the end. We're going to wrap up with a little bit of fun, a little bit of kills, and then we're going to head ourselves into this win streak. What a fantastic game that was. Our team playing light out, even with untypical characters in different roles, with Snoopy playing Scylla ADC. Looking at the damage output here, doing 15,000 damage on Sun Wukong. Sun Wukong has a lot of natural damage that he outputs, but also building straight tank, which means that I'm going to have taken 20,000 damage as well as mitigated 17,000, almost 18,000 damage in this game. Also have a lot of gold, one of the most gold accumulative on my team, and that's just because with the Midas boots, with the rotations, with those mid harpies, the gold furies, it added up very fast and allowed me to get ahead. That's why I try to recommend the Midas boots over the pen boots if you do not have to. Looking at our final build here, we have, of course, Death Toll for the starting item, into Midas Boots, into Sovereignty for the team, into Hi-Rez for myself, working my way into Magi's to make myself better at securing buffs, perhaps able not to get hit by the Chalk ultimate in order to secure these objectives. I hope you guys enjoyed this game. This was a really big boy game. I know you guys had been wanting a game like this. These games are very hard to get, and I can't promise that this will happen all the time, but I will try my best to get games like this that are at a very high competitive level, because I know that's what you guys are looking for in these guys. I appreciate you guys watching today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please subscribe. I appreciate all of you guys who've been watching all my videos since the start. This is amazing, and I love making videos for you guys, and I would love to continue making videos for you guys. Please also check me out on Twitch and Twitter. I've had several new faces show up in my Twitch, and I love to see you guys and answer your questions that you have. Have a Twitching day, y'all.